I'm going to try something different today. I normally script my reviews in order they sound vaguely professional, and I don't like leaving things out, but today it's going to be a little bit more off the cuff, meaning you're going to get the ums, the ahs, the coughs, and on occasion the odd background noise. Please tell me in the comments below if you actually prefer this style. I can honestly say that this is the first watch I've owned or reviewed that started its life in Romania, Transylvania to be precise. That said, Peren watches are handmade in Switzerland. I remember watching Jodie's review of the first version of this watch, and whilst it looked really nice, there are a few things Peren got wrong, and that prevented me from considering one. It was too deep and the rotating bezel didn't have any markers on it. Strange. These issues were addressed on version 2. One became available at a reasonable price, so I pressed the button, and here we go. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Peren Nera Rogue X. So firstly, the dimensions. Well, it's a 39mm case, the lug width's 20mm, the depth is 12.8mm, the lug to lug is 48.8mm, which is quite long. The weight on this strap is 93 grams. In my opinion, the watch about wears to size. And there we are, that's the packaging. For what's a very nice watch, the packaging actually is a bit naff. It's sustainable and it's made of cardboard, but it's something you'd expect from a very cheap watch, which this isn't. And for those interested, this is my watch of the day. It's the Tudor Black Bay 36. It's one of my 2 luxury watches. And how nice is that? Okay, you can see what's written on the dial. It says 200 metres water resistant. Well, that's what it is. It's 200 metre water resistant. I don't believe it's ISO rated, but I'm sure it will do as it's meant to do. Anyway, the crown. It's 7mm approximately. It screws down. It's very well knurled. As you can see, it's signed. It operates the movement without issue. The engagement is good, but it's not as good as a Christopher Ward or a Tudor or anything like that. But it's quite sufficient, and I like the fact that it doesn't have the crown guards, and it's quite large and it's easy to grip. Now inside is the Sellita SW200, which is an ETA 2824 clone. It's a 4Hz high beat movement. It ticks away at 28,800 beats per hour. It hacks. It hand winds, and they can be very accurate. Now, the Peren say that they regulate these before they leave the factory, but you're going to see my time grapher clip in a moment, and I do state on there that it wasn't actually very accurate when it arrived, and it wasn't. It was 22 seconds faster. For a regulated movement, I don't think that's very good. I did have the back off, only took me a few minutes, and it's running a little bit more, I should say, more accurately now. Anyway, let's have a look at that time grapher. There we are. Now, when this arrived, it actually was running about 20 seconds fast, which I believe for a so-called regulated watch, that's not great. It only took me 5 minutes to regulate this one, and it's running very accurately. The beat error is acceptable, and the amplitude is very good. So moving on to the crystal, the case and the bezel. Well, the crystal is a flat sapphire and it's got 3 layers of AR coating on it. Could probably do it a few more, to be honest with you, but it's not too bad. The case, well, it's very nicely shaped. It's beautifully finished. They describe it as being bead blasted. I would say it's sandblasted. It's a lot finer than being bead blasted. The lug to lug is a little bit long though, although they have bothered to drill the lug, so easy strap changes. I think this could be a bit of a strap monster, but we'll get to the strap in a little while. Turning the back over, and there's lots and lots of writing there. It tells you everything about the watch. Now this is numbered, I think it's 1, 2, 3 of 300. It's screwed down to help its water resistance, and again that's sandblasted. Now the bezel. Well, as you can see, unlike any other bezel I've seen, it's got a black PVD outer, but the actual bezel insert is stainless steel and it's brushed. I think that combination looks absolutely fantastic. It all seems to line up well. There's no black play, there's no wobble, and the movement is sensual. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It's as nice a bezel action as I've seen on any watch. Now, along with that fantastic bezel, what drew me to this watch is the colour and the dial. It's meant to be a dark teal and the colour of Devil's Lake in Transylvania. Now the indices are all painted on. We've got the hour ones and the square hour ones, I should say, and then the minute markers in between, and the chapter rings in black. What I really like is that 3 o'clock date window, which is perfectly colour matched. Now at the top there's the Dracula's teeth, which is the Peren logo. Then it says Peren Automatic. The hour hand, or I should say the minute hand, is beautifully placed over the writing over the 6 o'clock, but the Nera is written in yellow, which is very nice. Now the loom is quite good. It's not brilliant, but for the type of watch it is, I can forgive it for that. It initially lights up quite well, but it doesn't last that long. Now the hour and the minute hand I would describe as gatepost, and the second hand is an arrow second hand, and that is also loomed. Let's have a look at that loom. Now these are available either on the leather strap that you see here, a black NATO, or if you want to pay an extra £70 you get a bracelet. I haven't handled the bracelet, I've seen pictures of it. It's a basic oyster style bracelet that's brushed, but it has a male end link, and when you've got a long lug to lug like you have on this watch, having a male end link isn't the cleverest thing to do. Anyway, about this strap, it's superb, and I mean superb. It's as nice a leather as I've seen on a strap. It's branded, it's upside down there, as you can see, it's branded with Peren. It's got 2 keepers, and the buckle is signed. It's very, very soft, it's comfortable, and it smells nice as well. Okay, now the bit you've been waiting for. How much does this beast cost? Well, if you order it direct, at the moment, they were cheaper on Kickstarter originally, I believe, but at the moment they're 595 Swiss francs. In American dollars, that's 618, and in sterling, that's £495. But if you live in the UK like I do, you have to factor on 20% duty. We really get stung by the government. So that's going to cost you around the £600 mark. I'm not sure if they charge postage on top of that, though. For what it's worth, I actually paid £360. For what was classed as a used one, but it had barely been worn, to be honest with you. I think that's a really good bargain, and like I said a few minutes ago, if you want the bracelet, that's another £70 on top. Now, no, it's not a cheap watch. I grant it's not a cheap watch, but you've got to bear in mind this was designed in Europe, and it's made in Switzerland, and it's got a Swiss movement, and believe you me, when you've got this in hand, you know it's a very, very good watch. So even if you do end up paying £600 for this, I actually think that's very good value. Right, so QC issues, dislikes and likes. Well, the only QC issue as such is that poor regulation for a watch that's meant to be regulated in-house. I think running at 20-22 seconds fast a day, that's not very good. Apart from that, everything was fine. Dislikes, well, the packaging. I know it's a sustainable packaging. I'll struggle with that word then. But it really is poor. If you're going to spend, up to £600 on a watch, you'd expect something a little bit better than that. And that long lug to lug. Okay, I know it's a vintage inspired watch, and they did tend to make watches in those days with longer lugs. But for a smaller wrist, it's a bit of a struggle. I just about get away with it. Now there's an awful lot more to like than dislike, and this is going to be one of my favourite watches, I know it is. It looks fantastic. I love the dial colour. That bezel is absolutely incredible. I've never seen a bezel like that with the PVD coating on the outside and then that stainless steel insert, not to mention that fantastic action as well. The strap is incredible. I love the finishing on the case itself. I don't normally like sandblasted or bead blasted cases, but that's so well done you can't help but like it, and it's just a great watch all round. So in summary, I feel quite privileged to own this watch, especially at the price I landed it at. Now if you're looking for a nicely sized, tallly dressed diver type watch that somebody in the office hasn't got as well, why not consider one of these? I'm sure you're going to love it. Now that brings me to the end of this review. If you enjoyed it, please click on the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments below, and that's particularly important to do because I want to know if you like this new style. And enjoy the rest of your day.